Getting the platinum trophies for Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 were no joke. Each game has pretty much the same requirements, but the one thing I found out quickly is the reason it requires one playthrough is because I would have to play all 3 games on crushing difficulty. So to start off my journey in attaining the platinum trophies, I start off with Uncharted 1.
Let's go!
The story starts off with Nathan Drake and Alina finding the coffin of the legendary explorer, Sir Francis Drake, only to find out the coffin is empty.
What the fuck?
That's okay, because we find a booklet that is important for the journey ahead in finding treasure. But of course, we're not the only ones looking for this treasure. We got a bunch of sea criminals coming in fast, and now we must fight for our new found booklet. So the awesome thing about this first sequence of fighting these guys is that you can load your game after killing the first set of enemies and get a reset of the same enemies. Doing this, I was able to get the Headshot Expert Trophy, 20 Headshots Trophy, 50 kills with the 9mm, 100 and 250 Headshots Trophy. When the next wave of enemies come, this is when I get even more trophies. The Brutal Brawler, Brutal Expert, Brutal Slugger, Steel Fist Expert, Run and Gunner, and the Survivor Trophy. And after collecting 12 trophies in just the first chapter, you know the enemies are like... After getting saved by Sully and escaping the boat, we finally learn we are after the lost city of El Dorado, and after the boys ditch Elena, we make it to the next part of the game where I get my next trophy for finding my first treasure. I think it is also a good time to use the photo mode for another trophy. For the next part, there isn't much going on except solving puzzles and exploring a cave system. So we move on and find a German submarine, and after some exploring of the submarine, we come back out to find that Sully is now being held hostage by these guys who are also after the same thing we are. They want nothing to do with us and kill Sully. Like, what the hell? Now I have to leave Sully behind, and it's just messed up, and I have to make my escape out. After escaping the bad guys and running into Elena, she gives Nathan a nasty straight right. Next, I pretty much do what I did in chapter 1 to get my next trophy. After getting the AK-47 and fighting some enemies in the same cave that we came in, I get my next trophy. After finally getting out of the cave, this next part is brutal because I died over and over and over again. Crushing is no joke when it comes to how fast you can die. We still push through and find a jeep to get to a plane and escape the island. But of course, it's not over yet. To get to the next clue in finding El Dorado, we go to another island nearby and find that this island has armed air defenses, which is not good because it takes out the engine. Then Alina jumps out the plane, leaving us behind, and we lose her for majority of this chapter 4. But I do find another treasure and I get another trophy for that. For my next trophy, I get my hands on a Moss shotgun and get 50 kills for the trophy. I get more trophies in this chapter, one for killing 20 enemies while hanging, same thing but for grenades, and killing 3 enemies with 1 explosion, and also 30 kills with grenades. I get back to where the plane crashed in hopes to find Elena here, but no such luck, and we must keep moving forward. I come across a group of enemies, and with the M79 grenade launcher, I get 30 kills, and killing 3 enemies with 1 explosion 5 times. In chapter 5, nothing much happens. We're still trying to find Elena, but I do come across another weapon and get 50 kills with that. After clearing out this area, I find a strange relic and also getting another trophy for finding 20 treasures. This part of chapter 5 has to be the most miserable section. Enemies are shooting from the top and coming in from all angles, and I died a handful of times here until I was finally able to make it out. After what seemed like forever, I finally found Elena. I kill this guy quickly, but his friend turns on me and hits me with like a Modern Warfare 2 noob tube. I wake up in a prison cell and Elena comes to rescue me. In chapter 10, I finally get another trophy for finding 30 treasures. I fight enemies in this little arena and I get the M4 trophy. I get a dragon sniper and get the trophy kills. We get to a jet ski, and unlike what people say about this mission online, I actually had no trouble with it and got through it on my first try. We make it to the next part of the game where I come across people dying to traps. This was set up just recently, so not a lot of these guys know this, and it's apparent with this dead guy. I come across these new enemies who have red dot desert eagles, which is really cool, and you already know what time it is. Trophy time. This part was probably my least favorite of the game because I was getting absolutely smacked by these guys, and I died so many times But eventually I make it out. I get to a point in the game where I find out that Sully is actually not dead. He was actually saved by Francis Drake's diary. After a brief reunion, I solve this puzzle to get to the next area where I get my next trophy. I stumble across a conversation between the 3 villains of the game where they are crashing out over getting smoked by a one-man army, Mr. Nathan Drake, or us as the one controlling Nathan. Anyways, they talk about if it's really worth chasing El Dorado, but we all know it's probably not. I get another treasure related trophy, and after fighting bad guy after bad guy and solving puzzle after puzzle, pretty much what this whole first game is all about, we make it to a point in the game where we find the body of Sir Francis Drake, and Nathan is disappointed because the guy he looked up to is just dead in some random area. After trying to find a way to the next part of the game, one of the villains comes across us, but things take a turn for the worst as the villain's men start dying and a horrible creature comes out from the depths. Like, what is going on? I thought this was a treasure hunting game. After defeating these creatures and Elena comes to the rescue, we make it out, and now it's time to play Temple Run. We make it to the next part safely, and now we're in this like German research facility or something, and this is where I'm able to get my next trophy. I learned that the Spaniards turn into these monsters because of the curse of El Dorado or something like that, and Sir Francis Drake was actually trying to stop El Dorado from leaving the island. After learning about this from Sir Francis Drake, we now must stop El Dorado from leaving the island, or else some terrible things could happen to the world, and in order to do so, we must put an end to the villains of this game. The last chapter of this game is really hard. Like, I died so many times, it's insane. But of course, that can't stop us from stopping El Dorado from leaving. So we get to the end, we kill the final boss, and we finish the game. Next up was to get treasure related trophies, a weapon trophy, and then finishing up with speed run trophies to finally get the beautiful platinum trophy of Uncharted 1. My oh my, this game was something else. It was fun, I liked it, but now it's time to move on to Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2 is pretty much going to be the same thing as 1. I find treasure, I kill bad guys, so I'll go as quickly as possible through this. The game starts off with Nathan dangling off of a train. I get to the top of the mountain, and this is where we get our first flashback scene. We meet a new character named Harry Flynn who comes to Nathan Drake with a job to steal some kind of object related to Marco Polo, and then we meet the new character Chloe Frazier. And I know what you're thinking. After the flashback, we wake up on the mountain and I get my first treasure of the game. We get another flashback where Nathan wakes up in a hotel room, and yes, what you were thinking was right. After the flashback in the hotel, we stumble across an object that is crucial to this game's storyline. In another flashback, we are headed to Istanbul, Turkey. We eventually get to an area for what we came here for, but even early on, I knew something is up with this Flynn dude. We get inside and find a map that gives us a clue about Marco Polo finding Shambhala someplace in Asia. Also, my suspicions were correct. This Flynn guy backstabs us and leaves us behind after getting the information he needed. After backstabbing us, Flynn sets off the alarm, and now we have to make our escape. We get out, but unfortunately we get caught right away, and we have to spend 3 months in jail until our boy Sully saves us. In this next part of the game, I make it to Borneo where I get some combat related trophies. In chapter 4, we get to see the main villain of the game and that Flynn guy again. Then I get some more combat trophies. We meet up with Chloe again where we have to enter this cave, and I get the trophy for 20 treasures. We come across this skeleton dude who has the key item of the game, but shortly after, Chloe has to pretend to capture us and we lose our map, and Flynn orders us to the main villain, but then Chloe saves us and we have to make a jump to our escape. In chapter 5, not much happens. I get a few trophies, and in chapter 6, the same thing as well. I just get some trophies here. In chapter 7, we meet up with Elena from the first game, and she tags along with us. This time she has a new friend, and he's just kind of there. I don't know how else to describe him. We get to this massive room where we have to solve a puzzle involving mirrors and sunlight. This is so we can find the next clue to tell us where to go next in the game. After figuring out where to go next, we leave the room and I get some more combat related trophies. We get back to Elena and the camera guy, but this time the camera guy is shot and we have to get him out. I get another trophy trophy here, but shortly after saving the camera dude, it was pretty much for nothing as we meet the main villain of the game face to face, and he just obliterates this poor dude. After yet another escape, I get a trophy for finding 40 treasures. Next, we make it to this train yard, and classic Nathan Drake just does things without thinking and lets all the enemies in the area know where we're at. In the train yard, I just get one combat related trophy. Elena comes to save us, and we escape and get to another train to try and save Chloe, who earlier was taken by Flynn and the main villain. Now before we get to that part, let me tell you, this entire train sequence is hell. Enemies can 2-tap you, and then we faced this helicopter who can basically 1-tap you, and I died so many times I actually started raging a bit. We find Chloe, but she doesn't want to be saved, so this was all for nothing, and we get obliterated by the train falling off the mountain, and then we find ourselves dangling from the train again. After getting back to the top of the mountain, I face some enemies, and with the M32, I get the trophy for kills. We walk up the mountain, a man comes out of nowhere and saves us. He brings us back to his village, and after some well-needed rest, we meet up with Elena and meet this old dude who gives us some more clues about Shambhala and the Chintamani stone. We team up with our new friend and move through some caves where not much happens except me getting one trophy. After exploring the caves and coming back to the village, we notice now the village is being attacked, and now we have to fight back. During this big fight, I only get the combat trophy. After the big fight, we go on a wild chase fighting some enemies and get to a point where we see the old dude from earlier being kidnapped by the main villain. In the next part, I just get a few more trophies before we get to the main part of the game. After me and Elena find the entrance to the road to Shambhala, we are immediately interrupted by the main villain, and he makes us solve a puzzle to open the gates to Shambhala. And after hours of fighting, we get to the end of the game where we see the final boss, Lazarovich, drinking sap that gives you insane power. The boss fight is simple enough. We run around and shoot these things until he dies eventually. At the end of the game, Nathan chooses to be with Elena instead of Chloe. They end up having a happy little ending here at the end. Now all I have to do to get the platinum trophy is get some cleanup trophies. And let me tell you, the cleanup trophies for Uncharted 2 is insane. It's all worth it because we do get the platinum trophy. Uncharted 2 was awesome, great game, probably the best in the trilogy, but now it's time to move on to Uncharted 3. Uncharted 3 is simple enough. I find my first treasure, we meet the villains of the game, and there are flashback scenes of young Nathan Drake meeting Sully and getting his ring that belonged to his ancestor, Sir Francis Drake. After the flashback, we meet Chloe yet again, but this time she isn't our girl, and we have a new friend named Charlie. I get a trophy for finding the relic, and with Nathan and friends, we end up in this library where we find a key piece to the story, and we snag a map as well. I get another trophy. Leaving the library, I fight some enemies and get some more trophies. We make our escape, and after a debrief, we learn that we are headed to France. In France, we get to this mansion, and this is where I get multiple trophies. Next, we solve a puzzle, find the body of an old dude, get a clue, and in typical Uncharted fashion, we give up what we just found, but this time, there's bugs. After escaping the bugs, the villain has his men set the whole mansion on fire, and this is where we get our next trophy. We escape the mansion, and now we have to go save Chloe and Charlie in Syria. We find them, but turns out they don't need help, and they're like, what the hell are you doing here? Then we get some combat trophies. And then Charlie gets drugged by the main villain and he starts losing his mind. We end up having to fight Charlie, but we whoop him easily. First try, and in the cutscene, Chloe has to save Nathan. After this, I get a trophy for finding 40 treasures. For the sake of time, I will be making big time skips, so that way this video isn't too long. Anyways, Nathan ends up in the hands of Marlowe, who drugs him and steals back everything we have so far about treasure. Then we chase this dude around. Once we catch him, we end up getting hit, and then we end up on a ship. We end up beating these dudes up, and after getting back outside, we get some trophies. After escaping the boat, we end up on the shores of somewhere in the Middle East. We meet up with Elena, where we talk about how Marlowe and Talbot captured Sully and that we need to catch a plane to go save him. When we arrive to the airstrip, I get a couple of trophies here. We get to the airstrip and have to make a run for the plane. Luckily, Elena is here to save the day. We make it onto the plane, and this is where the craziest sequence of the game happens. We are literally dangling off of a plane and flying through the air. To this day, I still don't understand how Nathan could have survived, but he does. After walking the desert for what seems like forever, we get another trophy and then stumble across a ghost town settlement where I get some more trophies. We make a new friend named Salim who helps us to get back Sully. After a wild chase sequence of being on a horse, we finally reunite with Sully. And now with Sully back with us, we continue our journey to go stop the villains of the game. I get trophies for the rest of the game, and in order to stop the main villains, we shoot the treasure they are after. This pisses off Marlo, but who cares because she dies. Talbot is also pissed because we kill Marlo, so we end up fighting him, but he also dies. This puts the end to the game, and of course, Nathan, Alina, and Sully get a happy ending. All that's left to do is clean up trophies. Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection has to be one of the best games I have gotten so far for the Platinum Trophy. All 3 games are awesome, and if you like this kind of content that I'm doing, feel free to subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you in the next one.